friends, welcome back. My name is Sydney. If you're new here, I'm a dancer and a teaching artist with the Sand Dance Project, and today I'm really excited to share some creative movement that will give you the beginnings of some ballet type skills. So this isn't the same as a ballet class, but it will give you a sense of the smooth and flowing, light, balancing movement that it takes to be a ballet dancer. If you're ready to go, all you need is a little space around you and 10 minutes to spare. So let's do it, ballerinas and ballerinos. All right, dancers, let's get started with some ballet style movement. Now, if you've ever seen ballet dancers before or taken a ballet class yourself, you might know that ballet dancers don't really stand in the same positions of the feet that a lot of us stand in day to day. So instead, we're gonna stand in what's called first position in ballet. Click your heels so they touch together, and then send your toes out. So they're in a little V shape. You might notice that some professional ballet dancers or people with a lot of flexibility and mobility in their hips right here can open up their feet so they're almost flat. That has to do with flexibility, but also has to do with our bones in our body. So you only want to stand so far as you can balance straight and strong. Notice if I were to stand way far out here, it's really hard for me to balance. I do not feel stable and my knees start to hurt a little bit. So instead, I'm gonna bring my toes closer together until I feel like I can stand strong. So find your version of first position. Take your hands, curve the arms, and make it so the fingertips are so close to touching, but they don't. Almost like there's a tiny little piece of paper in between them. As you breathe in, take your arms up and overhead. And as you breathe out, curl them back down. Let's try that again. Breathe up and overhead and curl and bring them down. This time, bring your arms up and overhead and try to lift your heels off the ground. Let that go. Breathe out. Bend your knees. Try that again. Lift up. Lift the heels off the ground just a little bit. And then bend the knees, coming into what we call a plie in ballet. Last time, floating the arms up and bending down to plie. From here, I want you to curve down. Keep bending your knees in that plie position. Keep bending, keep bending, keep bending until you can almost touch the ground with your hands, and then send the arms out wide just like before. Bring them up high and maybe bend backwards just a little bit. Try that again. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. You can stay right where you are. Finding first position, I curve down, bending through my spine. Bending my knees a whole lot until my fingertips just touch the floor. Then I go out wide. And I try a little back bend. One more time, curving down. Nodding the head forward, looking in between my legs. And then arcing all the way up. Maybe back bending just a little bit. And bringing the hands down. Now, although it looked a little bit different, that's exactly the kind of neck movement that we normally do to warm up our head and neck at the start of a creative movement class. And what do we do next? We usually shake our head no. So we're going to do that. We're just going to ballet it up a little bit. So start by shaking your head no, just like you're used to. Bring it back to center. Take your heels, spread them wider apart. This is called second position if you're familiar with it in ballet. So my heels just aren't touching, but my toes are still pointing away from one another. Turn side to side and start to make it a little bit bigger. And notice how your arms and your shoulders start to come with you back and forth, almost like you're trailing your fingertips in water. Make sure it's not very strong, fast movement. We want this movement to be light and smooth. And start to make it a little bigger so your arms are going all the way side to side. And notice as I shift my weight, you might take a peek at my back foot. I'm leaving the toe on the floor and I'm just pointing it behind me. Try a couple more times. Keep going back and forth for 3, for 2, for 1. Beautiful. bring it back to center. Click the heels back together, coming back to our first position. We're going to warm our body up for a little more of that smooth, light movement that you see so often in ballet dancers. Take one hand, bring it to the top of the other shoulder. So I'm crossing my body. Slide it down just like water would roll down your arm and send it all the way out. Try that again. Slide that hand down and then send it off into the air. Notice how smooth and light I am. This time, as you slide it down, almost like it's going down a ski slope, slide down and send it off into the air. And then like a feather, let it float down and watch it as it goes. Same thing, but both hands get to float up this time. Bring the hand to the top of the shoulder, slide it down, both hands float up, and then they float down, down, down. Try it on the other side. Let's just start with the slide. Take your hand to the top of the shoulder, and then just slide it down, and it rolls down. Try that 3 more times. And 2, and 1. Beautiful. This time, slide that hand down and let it slide up and float down like a feather. At the other hand this time, slide it down and float up and down. Let your eyes follow your hands as they float downwards. Beautiful job. Now we did try some balancing on our toes just a moment ago. And if you're familiar with ballet dance, you know they spend a lot of time up on their toes, or if they're wearing special point shoes, even further on their toes than we can go wearing normal shoes or ballet slippers. So we're going to try a little more balancing with some traveling now. Put your hands on your hips. I find that that's helpful for me when I'm focusing on balancing. Find your first position if you lost it. Lift your heels up and off the ground. Let them float. This is tricky. It's hard to balance. Balancing is very active. So if you feel a little wobbly, you feel your muscles working, don't worry, that's okay. Try taking a tiny step forward and another step forward and start walking around the room. Walking very light, like you're trying to make no noise at all, like you're walking through a house of sleeping people. Like you're a spy. Try walking backwards, that's tricky. Keeping your heels off the ground. Can you try extra challenge? Spinning around yourself. Woo, and then hold up on your toes for 3, 2, 1, and let them fall to the ground. Feels really good to let that go. Plie your legs, so bending your legs, still in that position. A little bit of a challenge. Let's try walking around, staying plied the entire time. So keeping our knees bent. Try to take a step forward and rebend your knee. Step forward and rebend your knee again. Walk backwards and rebend your knee. Walk and plie all around yourself for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back to center first position, or of course just standing straight and tall if first position isn't comfortable for you. Well, dancers, we've warmed up our smoothness, we've warmed up our floating arms, we've warmed up our spine by bending forwards and backwards, we've warmed up our feet by rising up on our toes, and our legs by plieing deep and soft. I think we're ready to create our own tiny mini ballet creative movement piece. So I'm going to ask you to start in a shape. And remember, in my dance classes, shapes are frozen things, just like a sculpture. So choose a ballet shape to begin in. It could be a ballet shape you're very familiar with, or you could create your own ballet shape. It's really up to you, whatever you think would work beautifully. So take your time and create a shape in the next 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and freeze. You're going to have a moment to make a dancer's choice here, to dance with any ballet style movement you want that is safe to your body and the things around you. It's going to be light, it's going to be flowing and smooth. Get ready, get set, start your ballet dance here for 10, for 9, for 8, for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful dancers. Pick a shape to end you're dancing. Maybe it's the same shape as before, maybe it's a different shape. Go ahead and pick that shape and freeze. Let's add a little extra challenge. Can you take one leg and lift it off the floor? So now this is a balancing shape. This is tricky enough. Can you take it and try to raise your heel off the ground? Woo. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Point one foot out in front of you. Make a big L with your arms. Take that top arm, draw it down towards your toe. We're taking a little ballet style bow today. Switch. Other arm comes up, draw it down towards your toe. And then bring your heels together. Just drop your hands forward. Give yourself a big hug. Good job working so hard. And give someone a high five, or if no one's around, give yourself a high five. Amazing work, ballet dancers. Thank you so much for joining me, dancers. I love doing ballet style movement and I really enjoyed dancing with you today. If you're not done dancing, you can click the link in the description down below. It'll take you over to the Sand Dance Project website. That's where all our videos are going to live from me and other teachers who dance in the project. Of course, you can subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell if you want to know each and every time I upload new dance videos for you and I share. Until I see you again, dance everywhere you can, my friends. Bye.